Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Power On Podcast Portable. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sushi, and with me is the venerable Taylor. How are you doing, Taylor?
I'm doing okay. Ankle slowly getting better.
That's good to hear.
Woo.
So we're here for another shortened edition of the Power On Podcast, and today we are going to have a bit of a showdown. Is that right?
Showdown debate, I guess. Debate sounds kind of boring. Yeah, showdown. Battle to the deathish?
Deathish?
Yeah.
Never heard that word before. All right.
Deathish. Battle to the deathish.
Deathish. So the topic we've decided to choose today is Megaman 9 versus Megaman 10. And I will be kind of debating for Megaman 9, which means...
I am in favor of the Mega Man 10.
That's right. We kind of have some pretty strong opinions, it seems, either side of the spectrum here.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people really like 9, and I don't really hear as much fanfare for 10, but for whatever reason, I think I have a good... I don't know if I have a good reason, but I hope I have a good reason. I prefer 10 more over 9.
Yeah. I think I'll be interested in hearing some of your arguments as to why you feel 10 is the stronger game between the two.
Because it just is!
It just is! Let's stop right there. You win.
The end. I win. Alright, thank you.
It was a drawn-out conclusion. I should have known before it even started.
Obviously.
But yes, why don't we get right into it?
Why, certainly. I guess we should start in numerical order. Actually, no. Before we start that, what are your top 3 favorite Blue Bomber Mega Man games?
I'd probably go with Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, and probably 9, actually.
I see.
And yourself?
Myself, my favorite's Mega Man 3, and then number 2 would probably be Mega Man 4, and then Mega Man 2.
All right. I think it's a little bit harder for me to choose as well because I've only played a little bit of 4. I've never even played 5. I've seen 6, never played 7, and I've never played 8 as well, so I think that kind of makes it harder for me to choose top 3.
Yeah, well, no, I think it makes it easier because you don't have to play as many.
I guess, but...
You have a smaller pool to choose from.
Yeah, it'd be nice to actually play those, though, and have a more of an opinion on them as well.
7 and 8 are...
Would Mega Man and Bass be considered part of that, or is it just kind of a spin-off?
I don't know. For the longest time, people considered Mega Man and Bass to be like 9.
Yeah, to be 9, right?
But I don't know. I guess so. I guess you could. I enjoyed that game, but only because you could play as Bass.
Yeah, and I don't enjoy that game because Mega Man sucks in that game.
he is
You're
not.
right, Bass is awesome, but Mega Man's crap in that game.
He gets the short end of the stick in that game.
He really does.
So, all right. So I guess I'd like to kind of hear what kind of points you want to bring up for Mega Man 9.
Okay,
exactly.
Sure. So some of the things about Mega Man 9 that I think is really great about it is I think that Mega Man 9 has a bit more of an accessibility to it. It still has enough challenge that gives players enough reward to finishing those challenges, but I felt that a lot of it was a little softer around the edges. You didn't always have to feel on the edge for every stage and every jump and every moment of the game. I don't know, did you find that?
I couldn't disagree more on that. I really think that a lot of for example, a lot of the stages are extremely short.
Yes, they're very short.
And though that makes it accessible, I think a lot of those extremely short levels kind of lead themselves to very abrupt, very easy, very quick kind of deaths. Because if you don't hit certain jumps properly throughout like the whole game, like even in just a lot of the stages, I can expect that stuff in like Dr. Wily stages, but just some of the normal stages, for example, Jewel Man has the spikes on the side right before the mini boss.
Right before the rock mini boss.
Right, yeah, and you have that really absurd jump with it's not that absurd, but it's an obnoxious jump. And it's just kind of, to be penalized for and getting killed for like that and then having to start right at the beginning of it. It's short, yeah, but that sort of thing. Or like Splash Woman, right when you fall into the hole, there's the spikes. However, there's no inclination of it. So if you're just kind of like, you're playing it for the first time and you fall down the spike, then you fall down the hole, boom, there's spikes that are like kind of sitting there. And if you're not completely in tune with it, and you're invested in the game, or you're just kind of like playing it and like odds are you're going to fall into those spikes. They try to remedy that a lot by having very easy and very accessible extra lives, if you notice, right before or right around the same area as the kind of obnoxious parts in the stages.
In 9 or in 10?
In 9.
Yeah.
And
so that's to help you out. I think you're kind of right, Matt.
It helps you out, but it also, I think the programmers realized that it's cheap and that it's kind of, I think that's, to me, it feels very cheap and that sort of thing. And so the programmers kind of give you these extra lives to kind of remedy that, or like to calm the player down, be like, oh, yeah, well, you died, but there's this really easy extra life that you can get, so it's all good. That's kind of how I felt.
And I guess their intention was to give you the extra life to make you think, okay, I know this is going to come up now, and it's easier for you to pass it the second time. Is that what you mean?
Right, and yeah, you can if you like screw it up the first time, and there's the extra life, you got it, and then you could go through it. Odds are it's not that difficult, and so it's not even really a challenge as much so as doing it and just getting slaughtered the first time, and then and then going through it.
I suppose you could say that about every Mega Man game, though, right? I mean, there's always going to be those cheap deaths or those cheap spikes in the wrong spot or what have you.
Right. Well, yeah, and it's just, I think them having those extra lives so available, like
plentiful.
So easy to, plentiful. Well, I don't know about plentiful, but just so easy, and so they're very accessible.
Yeah.
And I think that they realized how, or to me, when I think about it, the programmers probably realized that a lot of this stuff is kind of cheap. And so they threw that in there to kind of cover that over, and I didn't really like that.
All right, I disagree with that. I think that they did a much better job of platforming in 9 than 10. But let's move on from that. What about just the bosses in general, the Robot Masters? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I personally think they had
What do you mean by, like, the diversity?
Yeah, the diversity, the looks, just as a whole, do you feel like their collection of characters were pretty solid or not so great? Or
I didn't mind them. It was I never really. It's Mega Man. I mean, you're gonna get some really silly ones in there. I mean, yeah. Plug Man. Kind of.
Plug Man doesn't bother me.
Well, no, I mean it just sounds like a silly name more than.
I think the worst one that they put in there was Jewel Man.
I didn't actually have an issue with Jewel Man. I think the one that I have a little bit of issue with that. And also I have an issue with in 10 is Magma Man.
Okay.
Because there's just so many fire ones. You have like Fireman, Heatman, Flareman.
There's a lot of...
The stage is kind of reminiscent, and I don't mind. Yeah, it's cool and all, and they do that in 10 too with one of the bosses as well, is that it's very reminiscent of like Shadow Man's or Heat Man's or Fire Man's or Flame Man's, and it's just kind of like something different would have been nice. So like
it had reminiscence of Quick Man as well with the bars, like the flaming bars coming at you.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, that's a good point. And I mean, Splash Woman, yeah, you could say the same, but at least it was a little bit different. Even though her stage is like really, really short.
It's really short. It's actually quite easy too. It's not a very difficult stage.
Right. So, but as a whole, I didn't really mind him so much. It just Magma Man kind of, I was just kind of like, too. I liked how when you're kind of playing through it, you can, it almost seems like it harkens back to some of the older ones, like Tornado Man stage kind of reminds me of kind of Crash Man and Airman stage a little bit.
Right, a mix, yeah. Tornado Man was a really good addition, I thought. That was one of the best Mega Man Robot Masters I'd seen in a while.
Yeah, that was really good. What did you think of the music of the stages?
I think the music in that game is just solid. I bought the soundtrack right after I had the game. I thought that they did an amazing job on the entire soundtrack. I think it's all memorable. I just found it was a great addition to the entire series. Aside from maybe a couple of the tracks not being that great, again, I don't have anything positive to pretty much say about Jewel Man. I don't like the stage. I don't like the character. And I don't like the music. I just don't like anything about it.
Jewel Man's stage I didn't really care for music-wise. However, Concrete Man's is kind of...
It's a little weak.
Meh to me, as well as...
He's weak, but he's a good robot master, I think.
Oh, yeah. He kind of has that little bit of hard man to him.
Guts Man.
Yeah, Gutsman. Well, he has that hard man, too, because he does the little the stomp,
The stomp,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So,
old hard man.
hard man, yeah.
What a
Well, it's great too.
terrible mess.
Well, but it's great too because when you get the concrete shot, it has C shot,
Yeah.
and things. The game came out in 2008. Let's see, I 22 at the time.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I thought it was humorous because I always whenever I saw that, I always thought cum shot. And
Yeah.
and when
And
when
it
he
looks
shoots
like
it,
a weird blob when it comes out. It certainly does.
So, yeah, I'm not gonna.
The solid.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then it cracks and then disappears.
Yeah, poor
So,
Galaxy Man gets the C shot. He gets a funny shot.
Yeah, so I mean, I will admit I definitely my mind was in the gutter whenever I click on the menu screen and see that. I didn't really care for Hornet Man much though.
Yeah. I liked Hornet Man's music and I like the look of him, but I think his stage doesn't fit anything to do with him.
Really?
It's all like Plant Man type stuff.
I didn't like his music that much.
It's a really short looping song. It's maybe a 30-second song that loops continuously. It's kind of similar to how Galaxy Man's is maybe about 30 to 40 seconds as well.
But
It
Galaxy
just loops
was
quickly. Yeah, Galaxy Man's was good. I want to move on though from there. What about the actual weapons? Did you find them useful? Because I found in 9, this is one of my kind of negative sides, I didn't find that the weapons were all that useful to me most of the time.
Yeah, it was nice using the Concrete Man's
That one was fairly
shot.
useful, but
and the
Galaxy Man's the black hole bomb I didn't find very useful often.
that didn't really.
Jewel Man could be useful at time. I mean, that's one of the few times where I had a shield in a Mega Man game that was actually pretty solid.
Yeah, but you get so many shields in other Mega Man games. It's
Yeah.
just like,
But I mean, like think of Woodman's shield. I mean, that one you can't even move when you turn it on. You have to throw
Right.
it. So
Yeah.
I don't remember Skullman's if you could run with it. I probably
Yeah,
could.
I think you could. I think you could.
But Jewel Man's kind of lasted a bit longer and it could take quite a few hits, it seemed like. But I mean, the other stuff I just didn't. Hornet Man you could pick up stuff with, which was kind of nice. But,
I like that.
I mean, otherwise you didn't really use it for attacking, though. I mean,
I don't even remember what was Plug Man's.
he had the little spark ball thing. That was.
Oh yeah, that was.
Magma Man was not very useful.
Not very good. It was like Heat Man's, but the
Yeah.
tri-directional kind of.
Right. Tornado Man's was pathetically bad, actually. For such a great boss, it's pathetically crap. Like it's
like one of the.
weapon's
It's
useless
the
except for the Wily stage where you blow the platforms.
Yeah, and it kind of harkened back to the Toad Man weapon where the acid rain is just kind of like
Yeah, I think that the weapons were not so solid in this one. That was one of the big kind of things I just can't stand in that game. Is I think the weapons are pretty useless.
I do have to say, Plug Man, I love his stage because the music reminded me so much of Spark Man. And I love
Yeah, Plug Man was a good stage.
had to put that.
That's one of the few times where they had disappearing platforms, but I could really tolerate it because they weren't really, really annoying. They didn't have a really long stretch where you had to keep going and going and going and going.
There's that one part, though, that's a bit of a pain.
A bit, but it's not something such as Heat Man's from Mega Man 2 or...
Well, you just use the jet at that point.
Yeah, I know you can use the jet,
But you can't really use the jet in this one because it has that pillar that comes down and you have to drop down to the disappearing blocks there.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you can't see over that far to see where the blocks are appearing and disappearing, so you're kind of grabbing in the dark for it. And I think that's a bit of a bad design. I love the stage, but that part particularly, I really kind of felt was poorly designed. So I'm not trying to like nitpick, but that's
I don't
those kind of things.
There's definitely some parts of Mega Man 9 that were poorly designed. I think we've already said Jewel Man enough, but there's mostly Jewel Man stage I think was kind of a little cheap a lot of the time with the swinging platforms.
Right. I actually didn't mind that.
I don't mind the idea of it, but
but it was
everything had to be so tightly perfect or you were going to die.
That for example, in Galaxy Man stages, the grapple machines, and this shit will come up again.
Oh,
those
yeah.
machines that fall from the sky and grab you and then bring you into the spikes. Usually, I hate that. That oh god, that is that bugs me so much.
But that's okay. That can be remedied once you know where they're gonna fall. It's not so bad. But yes, the first time you go through, you're like, oh come on, that's so cheap.
That like that or the I really hate the bubbles, even though it's really short in Splash Woman stage. I
Yeah.
hate that bubble crap that they do, because they did it in Mega Man 5 if I remember correctly.
Okay.
You use
Or something.
you ride the bubble, yeah, you ride the bubbles, and it's just that's so.
It was short though. It was really not that painful.
It's short. It's not that difficult, but it's just like I would have preferred more of the stuff that came after it, with the tiles that came across from horizontally that disappeared. You know what I'm talking about? Right after that section.
Okay. Oh, right, yeah.
I would
That
have
had the
preferred.
water dripping out of them, basically.
Right. I would
Okay,
have
yeah,
preferred
that part was good.
much more of that,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to riding these bubbles. Because if you die during the ladder section, you have to do the bubble thing again. And it just takes a long time. It's just like why
It's not, but you can jump so high in that part that you can just keep kind of moving the screen up.
But,
And it's only three panels, I think.
it is, yeah, it's only 3 or 4 panels, but it's time consuming, and it's just kind of like, why couldn't you have added more of the horizontal tiles?
Yeah, I know what you mean. They're the ones that have time
Right.
time
I
platforms,
liked
basically.
that was cool. I really liked.
I guess one other final negative thing is that Mega Man 9 has a lot of things that seem to chase you. From the Splash Woman stage, you have those little bomb things that chase you. You have those the things you mentioned from Galaxy Man that drop and try to catch you. There's just dumb things like that in Mega Man 9 that chase you often that are just really stupid and annoying. I really don't like that.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, there's
Actually,
just little things that are.
that didn't really bother me. So
Yeah, I don't like that. But to just bring back, I think the bosses are really, really solid. I think that the platforming is good. The music is amazing. And I find that the Wily stages are balanced enough that you don't get too frustrated on them.
There's something. No, there's one particular part in the Wily stage that pisses me off
What's that?
beyond anything, and that's, I think, in stage 3 when you're in the water and everything,
Yeah.
and near the end there's the gravity thing. Maybe that's in stage 4, but
The gravity part?
yeah, where you have to shoot yourself in a certain direction to move.
Yeah.
At the end, right before you get to that fucking ladder,
Yeah.
you have to shoot to get you have to shoot right and then shoot left. Oh no, you have to shoot. Yeah, you shoot. No, you shoot left to move right and then right to move left. But if you overshoot yourself, there's one of those fucking grapple robots that brings you straight into the spikes.
I don't remember the grapple robot because on that part, all you have to do is stay to the far left the entire way up.
Well, no, because there's these protruding spikes that you have to move over to the right and then move back over to the left
Oh, okay.
at a rather quick pace.
Mm-hmm.
If you aren't positioned properly. And if you overshoot, the grapple robot will grab you and just take you straight into the spikes. It's the biggest fucking dick move. And it pissed me off so fucking much when that happened. Like, I would die so many fucking times when I was first playing it. And it was, oh god. Like, that really, really aggravated me.
Yeah.
Because it was just the game being a dick. Right at that point. It was just kind of like, oh, what, you overshot, here's this grapple robot. You just put fucking spikes there. I wouldn't have minded so much if you just put fucking spikes there. But no, they put a grapple robot that drops down and then takes you over to the other spikes as a big fuck you. And it just, oh, God.
I must have just forgot about that part because I didn't recall that at all. Maybe I just was in tune to remembering, okay, just move over a little bit. It must have missed me, or I don't recall that.
Yeah, it was just something that just really stuck to me. It really aggravated me. So, but, like, the music for other than like stage 4, the music at Wily stages was really, really good. Just sure. Yeah, I don't know if I had
kind of reminiscent of 2 for me.
Yeah, I do know a lot of people feel that way too. They kind of think that 9 has a lot of similarities or things that harken back to 2.
Yeah.
So,
but I guess just to throw in the last bit is I do like that flaming dragon from I guess that's Megaman stage. Do you remember which one I'm talking about? It's kind of a mini boss the
one that shoots fire.
Yeah. I just like the look of it. I didn't necessarily like fighting it all that much, but I thought it was cool. Yeah, I was gonna say
fighting it was a kind of a pain in the ass. Like the mini bosses just in both 9 and 10 are really short. They're really easy. Yeah. Something I did like is after you beat Wily. Wily I didn't mind so much. I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But after you beat him, how Rush shows all the times that you'd beaten him before. and stuff, and I thought I actually liked that.
Yeah.
That was kind of nice. And I think overall, combining things like the fast-paced music, the really short, super short stages, and how abruptly you can die at times, I think that it embodies 9. 9 is kind of like that, like really quick kind of thing.
Yep.
And I don't know. It didn't resonate with me as well because Mega Man's not really that fast of a character.
Right.
So I don't really think of it as being that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can have those little the conveyor belts that will move you fast, but it's kind of a slower kind of platforming kind of game to me. So having the fast motif kind of throughout it really didn't. It was a bit jarring to me.
Okay.
I felt. I love the music and stuff, but it just I don't know. It just felt a little jarring to me. Maybe I'm just silly.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
I don't know. I don't agree at all. But why don't you give some comments on 10?
Okay, so 10. Where should I start with 10?
How
The
about
intro
how much it sucks?
the intro is really long.
I have never really sat through the intro.
The intro is so long. It's the title screen music is okay, but it's
yeah, it's not that.
I did like that Blues was available, or Proto Man. That was nice.
You know, to be honest, I never really tried him. I think I played as Proto Man for maybe 5 minutes one day, and I just thought, yeah, I don't like Proto Man at all. I'll just stick with Mega Man.
Because you're a purist.
No, I don't think it was that. Just his jump was shorter, and big deal. He could block bullets with the shield, and
It is a big deal.
Nah, I don't know. Wasn't his shot a little lower as well? Like slightly lower than Mega Man's? Is that
maybe? I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I didn't really play as him, so.
I don't pause I don't take out a ruler and measure it. So
Yeah, no.
Let's see. I guess start with the bosses. You do have some awfully silly bosses.
Yes.
Like I don't mind Sheep Man. I thought it was kind of cool. Well, not cool, but I thought it was kind of funny. However, his stage doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It has nothing to do with the character at all.
Other than Wool gets static electric.
Oh, get out of here.
And even that's just kind of like, really?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Pump Man was...
Ugh.
Like, I didn't mind it, but it's kind of like...
It's pretty lame.
Sewage, and it's just really meh.
See, I find the stage for him okay, but I find the character just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Solar Man, I didn't mind, but he has the same issue that I have with Magma Man, is that it's heat, fire, shadow, flame, and Magma Man, and so it's all that. It's just that same kind of stage regurgitated. So.
I don't like that he's got that ridiculous sombrero on, and he's got like a flaming sun on his head. I was like, get out of here! I really don't think I like pretty much any of the bosses in 10, except for maybe Nitro Man and maybe Blade Man.
Blade Man's. What about Strike Man?
No, Strike Man's one of the stupidest ones. Strike Man's shit.
No,
No,
is
a ripoff of Ninja Baseball Batman. That's all it is.
So, at least it's something different. It's a sports-themed stage.
Oh, with 2 sports.
Yeah, so?
Soccer, baseball only.
Yeah, so?
Crap.
It's better. What else do you think they play? Would you rather have it be a sumo-themed stage or something?
That would be awesome.
No, why is that awesome, but not baseball and soccer?
Well, why wouldn't we have wrestling then? Why isn't there wrestling?
Baseball and soccer are some of the main primary favorite sports in Japan. So of course they're going to cater to that sort of thing.
Let's have a kendo stage.
Kendo is not like the be-all, end-all in Japan.
But soccer and baseball are the be-all, end-all?
Those are like 2 of the favorite sports in Japan.
Why don't we just have a stupid donut-themed stage then, or something ridiculous?
You know what? At least it's something different. At least it's not fucking fire.
Well, I won't disagree that it's something different. It's not fire again.
That's what I'm going for. It's
Speaking of which, different. Is there pretty much a fire boss in every Mega Man game except for 3?
There's that fire theme though with Shadow Man. Shadow Man has the
but very, very vaguely. It's
4 had Pharaoh Man, which isn't really.
Well, but didn't he have like a flame
it's a
shot or something?
Kind of thing.
But isn't his power up like a flame shot or something?
No, you get the solar ball thing that kind of pops that builds up above his head and stuff.
So there's been a lot of fire though, basically.
There's been a lot of fire. So I mean,
a lot of water and ice though too.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Chill Man, fucking Chill Man.
Ah, he sucks.
Chill Penguin, that kind of thing. Or, Nitro Man, I believe there was already a Nitro Man.
Chill Man just looks like a cheap ripoff of Mr. Freeze, basically.
So
you just want to punch him right in the face because he sucks.
And then Commando Man was a little bit different.
Yeah, Commando Man wasn't too bad.
So, I mean, at least with, like, Commando Man and as much ridicule as Sheep Man gets, and...
I don't think Sheep Man should get ridicule. It's pretty obvious they were trying to make it hilarious.
Well,
They were obviously going for humor there. So I don't mind Sheep Man in that sense, but I just think his stage is stupid. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's all electronic and stuff.
Yeah, they could have probably put a different Robot Master for that.
Well, yeah, and it's at least a little bit different than your fucking Solar Man.
Yeah, no, I don't per se have a problem with Sheep Man's stage. I just think that
Right.
they could have
Well, no,
probably done a better job of putting maybe a different Robot Master
Yeah.
and putting Sheep Man in perhaps a better environment.
So, what'd you think of the music?
Honestly, very forgettable. I can't even recall, except for some of the Wily stages. Again, it seems that's always seems to be a common theme, right? The Wily stages always have good music. I found that the Wily stages were good, especially the first and the second one. But all of the Robot Masters, they just over my head. I just can't think of them.
The two that I enjoyed probably the most were probably Solar Man and Strike Man's music.
I seem to remember Nitro Man's being not too bad.
Nitro Man's was good. Chill Man's was pretty good. And Pump Man's was not too bad.
Yeah.
But like some of the things, for example, the last section in Chill Man stage, Jesus, God, screw that. The cars in Nitro Man stage. Oh, I hated that.
Actually, the cars, I find Nitro Man probably to be the most solid overall in that game. Whether it's stage, boss, and music. His
weapon is awesome, though.
His weapon is what?
His weapon is fantastic because you can
climb walls. I think everything about him is actually really great. Like his weapon's good. He's a cool Robot Master. His stage is pretty fun. It's a little challenging, but it's fun. And the music was okay. He's kind of one of the few full package characters in the game.
I don't know. I liked Solar Man. Pump Man, was it Pump Man that had the water shield?
Right, he had the water shield.
Yeah,
it's fairly useful actually.
Yeah, and Blade Man's weapon is insane.
Yeah, Blade Man. I think as a whole, the weapons in 10 are actually very useful throughout the game.
Yeah.
Unlike 9, where you don't feel like you ever need them, except for a handful of times. But in 10, you're desperate to use them most of the time, actually.
The weapons are actually really well made for the game.
The Solar Man weapon is really good because it shoots 2 ways. Commando Man's a little hard to use at times because if it hits without hitting a wall, it doesn't do that explosion.
Right.
So sometimes it doesn't work as effectively as you need it to.
Nitro Man's, you can climb walls with it.
Nitro Man's is cool. That's a really cool one. It doesn't kind of make sense to me that you could use a buzzsaw to climb walls, but it's
go with it.
Yeah, no, it was a good weapon. That's a good weapon.
That was a really good one.
As a whole, most of the weapons are really good. I kind of don't like Strike Man's because it's a little unpredictable, similar to the Gemini Man laser. If it misses, you're kind of stuck waiting for it to change. I guess in this game you can change your weapon, but...
Dr. Wily was Dr. Wily. I didn't really feel there was that much to it. However, I loved the after you beat the last stage before it has the secret, oh surprise, there's this extra stage that you obviously know is coming. That the lineup to it is just, I love that.
30 seconds to get there.
Yeah, I think that was hysterical. I liked
pretty good.
Thought that was pretty clever on their part to do something like that. Good. So yeah. But overall, I like 9 and 10 are not anywhere near my favorites, as I kind of mentioned earlier. But I kind of just preferred. I thought 10 was a better. Like the stages are a lot. Some of them, their themes might have been a little weird, and they are a lot more lengthy. But I thought they were actually done well. I thought they were better designed than 9's overall.
And I don't agree.
Other than with Nitro Man stage, I think they should have flipped it so that the cars were going the same direction you were at first, so you kind of get used to it. That part I didn't really care for. Blade Man's lever thing was really tedious.
Yeah.
And the Sands of fucking garbage in Commando stage.
I hate that stage.
So, like, those three are definitely pieces that I wasn't a big fan of. I like the disappearing blocks and stuff in Sheepman stage, and how you had to run on the conveyor belts to power up the platforms. I like that kind of bit. The water in Pumpman that's being dumped down. You had to be on your toes about and jump properly, and I liked how you would get hit by the purple orbs and make you slip and slide around and stuff. I like that.
Kind of oil or something.
Right, and I like the sports theme stage. I thought it was nice. Chillman can eat a wiener. Stage. It's easy if you go really slow right near the end. You just gotta practice patience, but it's such a pain in the butt.
Yeah, so. I totally agree. I think Commando Man stage is just pretty much cheap most of the time. It's just, I found that all of those bombs that come out of random pits and stuff were just frustratingly annoying, and much more so than in 9. At least in 9, they had those things that would come up and shoot the bullets, but they were patterned where they would move and stop and move and stop and move and stop, and you could jump under them most of the time. But in 10, you can't do that because those bombs explode and they just constantly knock you into the pits. And even when you shoot one and you think, okay, I shot it and now I'm going to jump, and one just pops out right away again. And it's just really frustrating. And then, counter that in with that sand. And if you're not a really good at the game, you're going to keep falling in the pit. If you try to ride the sand, you just fall in the pits typically, unless you're really good at it and have practiced a lot. I just found that stage to be very, very annoying pretty much the entire way through.
And, I mean, you got that in 9, too, with the things coming out of the hole, with, as you said, that had the pattern of shooting.
I found them less random, though, and a lot more easy to deal with. Especially some of the Wily stages. I think it's the first one where you're jumping and there's none of those bombs at any of those pits. And suddenly on the last one, it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to put a bomb here suddenly after you had already platformed through 3 ridiculous jumps and conveyor belts. And it's like, oh, here you go. Oh, sorry, you died. Keep trying again.
No, they do that, though, in Concrete Man and Splash Woman. They'll have the random thing that pops. Well, not Splash Woman, but Concrete Man. Yeah, Concrete Man, they have the ones that will just randomly pop out of the holes.
Yeah, but they're much slower.
Yeah, but if you're not paying attention, but if you're not anticipating having these things, it's like surprise. It's the same thing.
Well, the Wily stage is much more annoying because, at least in Commando Man, I suppose you could be expecting it. But I think there's one part in Commando Man where it comes out of every single pit, and then it skips one where it doesn't come out, and then you get to the last one thinking, oh, maybe the last two don't have, and then it just comes out again, and you're just thinking, well, that's cheap. Why wouldn't they just put it in every pit then?
Because Commando Man's a douchebag? But no, that's the same thing though. I'm not like saying it's better or anything. It's obviously a really, really crappy ploy that they've liked to use in Mega Man. But
yeah,
they did the same thing in 9.
I think to a much less degree though, to be honest. But I didn't die nearly as often by those things than I did with 10.
Well, I guess that maybe, but I think there's a lot more things that you can die by much more frequently and much more just stupidly in 9 than in 10.
I can see that being part of the level design, but I found in 10 kind of part of the problem was that you would get hit so easily by things in 10 that you would just get knocked into pits easily. I found that your slide and delay of contact, when you can take that damage and you have that little flicker moment where you can keep playing where you're sort of invincible after you take a hit, I found that didn't work nearly as easily in 10, and that you would slide a lot.
You're trying to hack swords through the...
Not necessarily. I just found like you'd get hit on a conveyor belt, you were 100% dead on a conveyor belt in this game because they were much shorter, and that delay didn't give you any sort of a chance to kind of jump out of it. You were dead pretty much every time. I found there's a much weirder delay than previous Mega Man games had. Yeah, they probably tried to adjust it to tighten it or something, and it just didn't work out as well.
I don't know. I really noticed that. I know there's like in some, maybe it was just me just getting angry at 9 and then playing 10 and not getting angry or what, but
and it's probably vice versa, right? So
yeah, so yeah, but like some things like in 9, like Concrete Man stage, you have those stupid elephants.
The elephants, yeah.
And that was really dumb because like you have the first elephant has that random floating ladder.
That's just like, okay, easy, yeah.
Right, and you're just like, whatever, and then it brings the green bouncy one, and you're like, that's not too bad, but then it has the third one has the holes right there.
The little holes, yeah.
Yeah, and if you get hit, odds are you're falling into one of those holes, depending on where you get hit. If you're trying to, like, avoid it, and you get stuck in the middle part in between those two holes, and you get hit, odds are you're screwed.
No, I don't agree. If you stand in the middle of that little platform in the middle, I never fall in the holes, so...
I get killed there all the time. I stay as far away as possible.
I guess whatever
floats your boat.
Well, whatever item, I guess, takes that thing down. Maybe it's the Splashwoman Trident or something probably puts that thing down pretty fast.
I don't know,
You might be able to shoot, because that was one weapon that could shoot through things. Maybe you could shoot through the ball with that or something.
I just stayed as far away as possible, hopped over the red ball, stayed on the platform that's before the first hole, and...
The little platform?
Yeah, I just stayed over there and said, fuck that. Because I always died every time I went to the middle one. So that always aggravated me. It's like, whatever, fuck that. So, but yeah, I guess, yeah.
For me, too, I think going from 9 to 10, it was such because I enjoyed 9 so much more, maybe that's why I think 10 just sucks so much harder in a way, because I expected so much more just coming out of a game that I really enjoyed and thought was well made. And
I feel that
going to 10, I was disappointed.
I feel that 9 is kind of, I don't know how to put it. I feel that 9 gets a lot of love because it goes back to the 8-bit. It started that whole 8-bit retro awesome feel again.
Yeah.
And so it was great to be able to do that. But I think it gets a pass for that. I think some of the things that are really aggravating in the game kind of get washed over because, it's a retro game. That's okay. It can have these really, really unnecessary, I think, personally bad designs because it's going back into retro and you're just trying to, harken back to, old school. These were difficult, and it just kind of, I don't know. And 9 and 10 feels more, what's the word I want to use? 10 feels more, English escapes me, refined personally to me. I feel that they actually tweaked a lot of the things. It's a little bit easier, but I don't think it's easier because it's easier, but if you play it and it's not this kind of, surprise, other than Commando Man stage.
Yeah.
That's a given. That a lot of the other stages you can actually, go through it and not feel like you have to be constantly paranoid about every single freaking jump other than Commando Man stage.
Always a disclaimer on that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, as a whole.
Yeah,
so,
just as a whole.
Right, yeah. That's personally just how I felt. I felt that 9 and 10 are kind of like 1 and 2.
I could see that, but I would probably reverse them.
So that's just kind of how it felt to me. So I know people are going to be like, Taylor, you're crazy.
No, I think that's good that you can give some justice to 10. And I'm not saying 10 is a really, really bad game. I just find that I don't like it nearly as much as a lot of other games in the series. I just found I don't like the platforming in it. I don't care for pretty much any of the bosses. I don't remember the music. It's just a lot of it I just don't care for. And I feel like they maybe kind of rushed it out. They just were like, yeah, we need a new Mega Man game. And I know it didn't come out right after 9, but it just feels a bit sloppy to me. They were like, yeah, people like 9. We can just make 10, however.
The thing I did want to bring up is that with how 9, it was that kind of fast motif, it felt like.
Yeah.
The music overall, I think, worked well. It may not have been as memorable for some of them, and some of them might not be as like, oh yeah, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. But I think it fit the kind of the theme of the game overall because they have the robot influenza, and it's very somber. A lot of the music seems very, it's slower paced. It's kind of depressing almost, and I think that actually I like that more. I mean, I love 9's music, but I liked how 10's kind of accentuated that kind of depressing vibe of all these robots are getting infected with this and this robot influenza and dying and stuff. So
I could see that with Pumpman particularly. Pumpman has a very low-key song and very moody type music. And I hate Pumpman's stage with the stupid water thing. You brought that up. I really don't like that pushing you down and falling in pit shit. That's just crap. I thought that was a cheap move on their part.
The grapple robots in 9. Bane of my existence.
Actually, I didn't remember. Were there a lot of Conveyor belts, I don't remember there being too many in 9, but there's certainly a lot in 10.
Yeah, I don't think there was that many in
Yeah,
9.
I'm not a big fan of the conveyor belts.
I don't mind them. They never really like, oh my god, this is terrible. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, whatever.
I think in combination with those bomb things, it just kind of got really frustrating at times for me.
But yeah, so that's you wanna lead us out of here?
Sure. So if you guys have any comments, we'd love to hear your opinions on Mega Man 9 and 10. Do you prefer
Preferably
9?
about 10.
Preferably about how much 10 sucks.
How 10 is awesome.
It's sloppy seconds. No, but we'd love to hear if you do love 10. Please give your comments about it, and maybe you can prove to me why 10 is a much more solid game, as Taylor has tried to do today. And if you feel that 9 was a much better game, please do so to tell Taylor how much 10 sucks.
Yeah, no, I actually am really curious to hear other people's thoughts, because it's been 2 years since 10 had come out and 4 since 9 had been released, so It's been some time, so it's actually, you can sit back and play it again and kind of
return to that.
Regurgitate, well, not just regurgitate what everybody else was thinking when the games were first coming out. So you can actually you can distance yourself from it and play it again and see if how you feel and you still feel that same way, or, feelings change and whatnot. Yeah, so yeah, that's really about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, even though it wasn't that miniature. I hope you guys
shave it down.
Shave it down, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this episode. Comments, critiques, and all that kind of stuff, please.
Of course.
Tell us. Jokes you want to tell.
Yes, anything.
So yeah, so thanks for listening, guys, and have a good day.